Hey, welcome to Instant Reaction, the Blue Jay Banner post-game show. We're live here on the YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Hit like as well, and share it with all your friends so we can continue to do this show and keep this spreading out to all Blue Jay Nation. Jays win 83-61 in a dominant performance. We're going to have Unsung Hero Worst Call of the Night, as we always do. By the way, the original, I want to focus that again, original Unsung Hero, the people who invented it, Blue Jay Banner. And then later on, Jalen Courtney Williams will join us. I haven't heard back from him, but I think he got everything lined up. So hopefully he will join us here in a little bit. Ross, I thought that was just, first of all, it boggles my mind. I only saw part of the St. John's game and part of the Xavier game. It boggles my mind how they hung with Xavier, 3 points at Xavier. This is a bad team. The other games I've seen this team, I'm just like, wow, this team's not very good.
Yeah, I was texting with you and I have chatted about this, but I was texting with another buddy about this earlier tonight. I mean, because I agree with you. I've watched Seton Hall a few times, and I haven't really been terribly impressed. I mean, they've got some athletic kids, athletic, strong kids, but I don't know, their roster, they should be maybe a little bit better than they are. Just some of the pieces that they do have, it's a little bit bizarre that they're not a little bit better, but. But my point was, I was kind of rambling, but my point was, I was texting with a friend about this, and you and I have chatted about the variance in college basketball this year. I mean, how that team, gives Xavier a game at Xavier, I'll never understand. And then, Kansas State goes to Texas tonight and hangs 100. Wisconsin almost loses at home to Minnesota. I mean, Pitt almost beats Virginia at home. I mean,
they did beat Virginia.
Or they did?
Yes.
That's right. Okay. All right.
I mean, that's huge. That's two huge wins for Pitt in a row, Virginia and North Carolina.
Right. Yeah. So it's just been, it's just really, really difficult to get and quite honestly, the more that you watch college basketball, the more that you realize that, shooting, you need shooting. You just can't win games consistently without consistent outside shooting. Case in point, this team, you can make an argument. We've said it before about our team. We could be 12-3 right now. We missed a lot of open jumpers in some games that we lost during that skid. So, but yeah, great game tonight. I thought the boys looked good. I didn't think Seton Hall had a ton of fight, quite honestly. But
I think we took that. I think Kalkbrenner took that away from him. And like you just mentioned, when I've watched Seton Hall before, I'm just amazed at how poor they are in the offensive end. They don't have many guys that can make shots. And here's the other thing, too. They're playing Richmond, who I think's a decent player.
I've always liked his game.
They're playing him at the point. And that just seems to me to throw everything off that they do. And you mentioned Xavier. Maybe that's like there's a team that doesn't have a true point guard, Xavier, And maybe that's why – and maybe that's why Seton Hall had some success against them. They were able to match up better. Richmond had trouble. He immediately got 2 fouls. He had trouble with Nembhard tonight. And, it's just not a good matchup, I don't think. And they don't have a big. So that really.
Yeah, what's his last name? Ndefu.
Yeah.
I mean, he does some nice things, and God, he had a great run for St. Peter's last year, but he's undersized at that spot, especially against a guy like Kalkbrenner. So it's, they had the one kid, I can't even pronounce his last name. I tried to pronounce it earlier. Udukale?
Is that close enough?
Yeah. I mean, he shot the ball well for them, 7-11 from the field. Tyrese Samuel, he's been around for a while now. I remember when he was I think he was a freshman on the team, and the year that we won the Big East, and I got canceled because of COVID. But yeah, they just don't have a ton of pieces shooting the ball from three, and it's again, if we've said this multiple times, we just said it. If you don't have a lot of those pieces, it's going to be really hard for you to win long term in college basketball.
Well, one of the reasons they didn't have the pieces is because our outstanding coaching staff made them look that bad. And joining us now is Jalen Courtney Williams, assistant coach at Creighton. Hey, Coach, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. That was fun.
Hey, what do you got that big heavy coat on for? It's a beautiful night out there.
Well, depends on who you ask. If you ask me, it's freezing. But maybe I'm the unpopular opinion.
Yeah, you're from the South, so
yeah.
Well, we had Ben on our regular show a couple of weeks ago, and he had his great big blue puffy coat on inside, and I'm like, Ben, are you freezing? You told me you weren't going to freeze. Are you freezing yet? And he goes, yeah, it's kind of cold.
Hey, so the rest of the staff, they laugh at me when I wear that coat. I mean, it's a warm coat, but I wear that coat when it's 40. It's 40 out. I got the big puffer on, and then the rest of the staff, they make fun of me, man. But guess what? I'm warm.
Well, we're not going to make fun of you here. You look great. It's a great looking coat. What was the game plan going in tonight?
Well, obviously, we needed to do a job at the point of attack on Richmond on number 0, and I thought Trey did a heck of a job, from the tip there. I mean, he took a charge, which immediately knocked him out of rhythm, and he got his second foul fairly soon, quickly after, and that completely took them out of rhythm from there. Did a good job on their shooters. Dawes hit a couple early. But I thought for the most part, we did a good job on him. We did a good job on Harris, who, I don't know if you guys remember, but, a year ago, he made a lot of shots for the Seton Hall Ball Club. So, high alert there. And then the rest of it, man, they have a ton of sets. Coach Holloway over there has brought a ton of action to him. And our guys, they were in tune and connected. They did a good job.
Ross and I were just talking before you came on. I mean, I've always loved Richmond, and he said, "Well, they look like a lack of a little fight." And I said, "I think Kalk took that fight away from him with those 5 blocks in the first half."
Yeah, and I'd like to say he maybe had another that he didn't get credit for. But yeah, his activity level tonight was unbelievable. It was the Kalk of old, right?
Of like 2 months ago.
Yeah, which was really good to see. Him getting back to who we know him to be and his activity level and quarterbacking our defense. And the job he did there, just it kind of stifled them at the rim, made them settle for some shots I don't think they wanted to take. And we did a solid job on the glass. I thought Art, one of his better nights, maybe of his career. As a Blue Jay on both sides of the ball. He rebounded the basketball. He defended at a high level tonight. So just all around great group effort.
Coach, speaking of Kalk and getting his health back, what's that journey been like for him? I mean, I know that's not easy coming back from mono. Is he still kind of feeling some lingering effects? And how is getting his conditioning back?
Early on, maybe a week ago, I think there was some stamina stuff going on that he was trying to work through. He felt great, but just, after missing some time, it takes a while.
It's hard,
but you guys know Kalk, man. He's I call him Steady Eddie, right? Mm-hmm. Every day he puts his foot on the gas and he tries to, get 1% better. And it's starting to pay off, right? You see his stamina getting back to where we remember it being, his activity level. He's using his voice probably more than ever right now, again, quarterbacking our defense. So it's good to see him, play at that level.
Well, I don't want to jump ahead.
I say play at that level, man. I mean, what is he, first in the country in field goal percentage?
Yeah.
I mean, what am I talking about?
Well, I don't want to jump ahead because I want to get into plenty of discussion of this later. But I heard Kalk on the radio here, and he said, yeah, I'm feeling really, really good. Maybe there's a little conditioning left, but for the most part, yeah, you're absolutely right, Coach. He's back to normal. But then the name Damo Sonogo was brought up, okay? And if you remember at the Big East media day, Kalk didn't have a whole lot to say, just kind of like we'll see.
Yeah.
That name was brought up in the post game tonight, and you could hear him just pulling the reins back, okay, don't say anything.
Yeah.
But you could hear him when a guy's picked over you have a little bit, you could just tell, not a better time for him to be hitting his feet, because you can tell he's ready for
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. Well, Kalk's a competitor, right? He's a competitor, and he's worked extremely hard up to this point. And Sonogo's he's playing extremely well. He carries that ball club over there, and I like our chances. I like our matchup.
I do too a lot. Hey, let's get back to Art though. Double. I thought Art played within himself today, and he mentioned that they said, "Hey, was it great to be away?" And he goes, "No, I got in the gym because there was a lot of things I need to fix," and that was really eye opening to me that Art was working on his time off, and it really showed tonight. I mean, he really had a complete game tonight.
Yeah, I want to give a lot of credit to Art, man. I think over the last week or two, he's done a lot of looking in the mirror to see what he could be better at. He's been extremely coachable, and him, his teammates, everybody's just been kind of patient with each other, right? None of us have been perfect in this stretch, but you can see it all starting to come together. It starts in practice. He's had really good preparation. I thought some of his best practices since he's been in the Creighton jersey, leading up to our last couple games, and you're starting to see it pay off, have some carryover there. So I'm extremely proud of Art.
Jalen, what's it like for these guys off the bench? A game like tonight where you guys are really in control most of the game, and for them to get some extended minutes. I mean, I like Sharif goes 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Mace Miller hits a couple of threes. I mean, I got to imagine for those guys that's pretty big for confidence purposes.
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw what happened when Fred King was able to get extended minutes. So sometimes those are the best teaching moments, is live game minutes. So to see those guys go in there, Mason did some really good things for us tonight, and he did some things that we have an opportunity to get to the film room and kind of coach him through. So those minutes are extremely important for growth, for sure.
I'm glad we brought up Sharif because hey, it's not a big breaking news segment to say that he's been struggling a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just not the Sharif we've known and seen. But tonight, I thought I could immediately when he hit the floor, he had a bigger bounce to his step. He was out there, and man, that shot sure looked good tonight.
Yeah, it did, and he's been putting in a lot of work, over the summer and preseason on his jump shot, and if we stat practices, if you look at his practice stats, he's shooting the ball well, and kudos to Sharif. He's a veteran guy, and his minutes are, sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down, but for his ability to come in tonight and be ready for, anything to happen, kudos to him.
Well, I want to ask you about that because I brought this up to several people when you're losing 6 in a row, our message board is on fire. Okay. People are all over the place. And I was like telling people like, hey, Coach Mack said it in the post game after the last game. I think he's been hearing it too. Like, hey, if you don't like us shooting threes, you need to find a new team. Okay. Which I went, bravo, coach.
Yeah.
But there was people on there, about Art, and I'm saying, guys, I mean, you guys said last year, in practice, he was the best 3-point shooter, even though it wasn't translating to game. He's the best 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
I got blowback like, well, in practice, and I go, look, dudes, you need to go to practice. It's not like they're standing out there with 20 feet of space shooting threes. It's pretty high level.
Right.
Just speak a little bit about that when you're charting shots like that.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, when you're dealing with freshmen transitioning into sophomores, usually they take a huge jump, right? And you can look around the league at guys like Cam Jones. I mean, there's a list of guys. Jordan Hawkins. We expected the same growth and steps from our guys, and they've shown it in practice. So it's only a matter of time before the work meets the opportunity, and you're starting to see those numbers rise, right? I don't know what Art's 3-point percentage is today, but it's on the uptick, right? And same with Nembhard and Trey Alexander's been shooting at a consistent clip as well. And then Baylor Shireman has had some nights where they hadn't fallen for him. Farabello, who's a career 40% guy. You know, we had some things to worry about and fix, but you know, our ability to make shots was never a concern of ours.
Most important question I got for you: have you gotten over your cough yet?
It's still there. It's faint. I have a faint cough. How about you?
Still there, man. Just the other day. Today was better. It's like one day's good and the next day, you know, I'm like,
yeah,
I'll have a bad day and I'll be like, okay, I got to go back to the doctor, spend 2 months now, and then it'll be good. And I'll be like, okay, I'm fine.
You know what? As bad as I felt, if this is all I have, this little faint cough, I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't feel bad. It's just that cough just kind of wears you down.
It's annoying, but I tell you what, I feel great. You know, we're back in action. I'm back ready to roll. So I'll take the cough. I'll take the cough.
Take the cough to stores and get a win, Coach.
Yeah, no question.
Hey, before we get to stores, though, I want to ask you, our good friend Joel had a great article on Trey.
Yeah.
Ziegler. And obviously you recorded the article. Can you speak a little bit about what you talked to him about coming to Creighton and what you've seen in him?
Yeah, well, Trey, he has a unique position in this whole thing, obviously, with his dad having the career that he's had. So I think he's known that this was in his cards a long time ago, and the timing happened to be pretty perfect. You know, he was ready to hang up the laces. And, you know, obviously we lost Corey Edwards to Drake. And, you know, our dynamic that we have here of our GAs, we have Lucas Vargas, who's a former manager who does an unbelievable job for us. And, you know, Corey Edwards was our former player. We lost that and we had to replace it. And, you know, you remember I was on the scout team a little bit last year. And Trey's officially taking me off the scout roster. So you know, it works out for everybody. But he's done a great job. This has been a great learning experience for him. But his experience that he's had prior to here is helping us and it's helping our guys. So I'm extremely happy he's here.
Hey, just so you know, in the future, if you just give me just a little bit of heads up that some guy is going to Drake, I got a number right here on speed dial. I can call a guy over in Drake real quick to say, hey, stay away from our guys.
Yeah, no, you know what? That was an unbelievable opportunity for Corey. You know, and he did a great job with our group a year ago, and he earned that opportunity. So, you know, we talk all the time, and he's also done a good job with Trey as well. You know, getting on the phone and kind of helping him through some stuff that he went through last year about the role and things like that. So, you know, just to know that our group is connected in that way, and even though you can move on and still be connected to us is a pretty cool thing.
Nice win over Mississippi State.
I thought you were going to say if we gave you a heads up that you could come get on the scout team. I was going to say I don't know if we have that much time. There's you know, I don't know if we have that big of a window. You know?
Hey, look. Back in the day, when I was like a sophomore and just about 5 feet tall,
yeah,
we had a really good high school team, and they'd be, we need a challenge. Kruger, get out, because I could hit threes. That's all I could do. And they'd be like, yeah, see, he's challenging. He's hit threes. Not anymore, Coach. Sorry.
Not anymore. I thought you were going to ask for the scout team job.
Look. I've seen your managers at practice. Those guys bust their tails.
They get after it, don't they?
When they do that 6-on-5 drill, those guys are going.
They get after it. They get after it. And that's the other part of our deal right now that's really clicking on all cylinders, man. Our scout group, our group of red shirts, everybody is really chipping away at it. And you know, it's a reason we're kind of trending the way we're trending right now. Everybody's doing a good job right now.
Hey, quick question: was Xander out tonight?
Yeah, he was under the weather a little bit the last couple of days. So you know, I guess we all just take turns, man, getting sick. So
yeah. Wow, let's hope this is over with. All right, so we're going to UConn.
Yep.
You mentioned Hawkins. I kind of looked at him as kind of a guy, you know, Max sets up that defense. There's always that one guy like we're okay. If you look at his numbers, we're okay hitting shots, but he hit some big shots Saturday against Xavier.
Yeah, I tell you what, that guy will not be Hawkins. I can guarantee you that. Jordan Hawkins, man, he showed flashes a year ago of what he can be, and this year I think he's taking a huge jump forward. And obviously, Andre Jackson over there is unbelievable talent for him.
Man. He's been great.
Excuse me, he does a lot for that ball club, and Sanogo gets a lot of the credit in the media, but man, they have a ton of pieces over there, and it's no question why they're what are they 2 right now?
Well, they lost, so they're going to drop a little bit.
Yeah.
The other thing that kind of ticked me off was I saw a little graphic where they had 4 teams of the 1-2 punch in the middle, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll put our 1-2 punch up against UConn's.
Yeah. Well, we have to go out and improve it. We had opportunities early that we dropped. And it's a what have you done for me lately kind of deal, especially in the media. And those guys are hot right now. They've been playing well, so we have to get out there and control what we can, right?
What do you think like the 1 or 2 top keys are?
Transition. Obviously, they like to get out and run. Just kind of going through the film so far, they love to get out and run. You have to do the best you can with Sanogo. Obviously there, and then controlling the glass, right? Controlling the glass in the half court. They grab a lot of their misses. Pretty opposite their missed shots, turning the baskets for them. So we have to be able to control the glass and transition D. So,
and I've been very impressed with them. I've been very impressed with them beyond Sanogo, the way they rebound. The other 4 guys on the floor.
Yeah, and then they have some guys coming off their bench. There's some veteran guys. Calcaterra,
California. California.
Yeah. So veteran guys there. Diarra off the bench is unbelievable defender, and then the young fella, the big fella.
Yeah.
Klingen, he's
a big
talented
boy
kid too. So they have a lot of pieces.
Anything else, Ross?
I think we should let Coach go and go get prepared for UConn, and it's an early Saturday game. They're going to be hungry, but good luck, Coach.
Thanks a lot. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man. That's assistant coach Jalen Courtney Williams. God, he's terrific, man. I love having him on.
He's a sharp mind. He's charismatic. I mean, there's a reason he's got this job as a Big East assistant at a pretty young age. I mean, gosh, he's probably only 30. Close to 30, 31, something like that. So
I've noticed on the bench as well, whenever guys come out, he's sitting with them, they're chatting with him, so usually laughing. So he seems to be like a real players coach.
I really noticed that. I really noticed that in Vegas. I was sitting very close to the Creighton bench both games, and how many times Mac turned to him on defensive matchups and different things, and had Courtney Jalen so involved in it. It was pretty impressive.
Right.
The things that Mac trusts him with. Hey, we haven't had a chance to even mention our fine sponsors. It's Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Go and check them out and have them be your banker of choice. West Pacific Dental Group. They're my dentist. They do a terrific job, Dr. Robert Hogan and his staff. So make sure and check them out if you need to call them. Call them right now, 402-697-0765. And then our new friends at Infusion Brewery with the Let It Fly, baby. Another victory. That's 3 in a row. Time to toast a Let It Fly beer.
Hey, how was the crowd tonight?
The crowd was awesome tonight.
Was it?
At first we were walking in and we all had the comment like, usually you're at that intersection or there's just this mass of people on the south side of the arena. And there wasn't tonight. And we're like, ooh, all right. And boy, that place filled up nicely. It was a bigger crowd than the Christmas Day crowd.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right. It was a good crowd tonight. Very active. Got into the game early. Of course, the Jays had, we had a lot to cheer about. But I thought it was a great crowd. They had a few of the cheerleaders back, which is cool. Really, I thought it was a great crowd. Great crowd.
Right. Good deal.
For a Tuesday night when the weather was a bit iffy, I thought it was good. Unsung hero tonight. Ross, do you have a nominee?
Let's say Mason comes off the bench, hits a couple threes.
Very good choice.
I thought the one that they they ran the set play from kind of a crackback screen at like the elbow, and I thought he came off, really set his feet 1-2 into a shot real quick. He had a confident stroke about him there. So I'll say Mason. Hopefully he's been shooting it better in practice because like I said, I thought he looked more confident and had a little bit of a quicker trigger when he got the ball to shoot tonight. So I hope that can continue going forward because it's hard when you're in a position like him. I mean, he's still finding his way. He's still a young kid. He's only playing X number of minutes a game. It's you gotta make him count. It can be really hard.
Yeah, and I thought it was really big for him to eat that first one to go down, because usually when he gets the first one to go down, then another one's going to come, and he did that tonight. He had one that kind of went off his hand funny at the end. You could tell he just didn't have a good grip on the basketball. Zach, you got anybody?
I was, for as much as he really did this game, no one was talking about Baylor. And I thought he made some really nice passes. Choice. He made a really timely three in the corner. That pass he made, that bounce pass he made to Kalk in the first half. Yeah.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty. Because I was like, oh, Baylor, you missed your chance, because he had him initial, right? And then he took two more dribbles and just nailed the bounce pass in there.
Yeah.
Great job by Kalk to hang on to it, too.
Yeah, speaking of great passes, when we're done with this, Ross, you should check out the end of the Kings-Jazz game if you didn't get the chance.
I saw it.
You saw it?
It's tough. Tough pill to swallow. That's how it goes.
Yeah, you'll have to check that out then, Tim.
Is it an NBA highlight?
It is.
No, I can't find those, sorry.
The NBA has been unbelievable the past few weeks, Tim.
Yeah.
So we haven't talked during this 9-day span between. I watched an NBA game. I want to say Christmas Day or after. It was Dallas, supposed to have the greatest player of all time, and the Lakers. You could have taken a sharp stick and jabbed it in my eye, and I would have been more pleased. It was the worst basketball I had ever seen.
How?
The Lakers moved the ball. LeBron penetrated. They moved it to the wing and then shot it back to a point. A guy is wide open, no one near him, and he shoots the ball just past the free throw circle. I mean, an air ball. I mean, I'm like, this is an NBA player, and it was a guard. It was like a point guard. I'm like,
the shot was probably blocked. I mean,
no, Ross. There was nobody within 20 feet of this dude. I mean, and then Doncic looked awful, just awful. And of course, the next night when I don't watch, he scores 60.
Yeah, 60, 20, 10. First time in NBA history.
They.
Oh my God!
I bet you if I go back and look at that box score, they had a 50-point third quarter, 50 in one quarter in that exact game.
Amazing when nobody plays defense, what you can do. And I can understand why Creighton, DePaul beat out 4 of the 5 NBA games. I can understand that.
I think it was just something different. The NBA, they now have 5 games. I mean, they used to just have like 2. So now it's spread out throughout a day. Everybody can always kind of get in there. But, man, you got you anti-NBA guys, man. You got to get on board because it is as entertaining as it gets.
Just absolutely.
It is
Donovan Mitchell just accounted for the most points since
Seton
Wilt Chamberlain.
And Georgetown play.
Donovan Mitchell just had 71 points and 11 assists.
Great. Happy for him.
Giannis, 55 tonight.
Yeah.
It's like guys who say, oh, that World Cup game was the greatest World Cup game. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. I wouldn't watch it if it was in my backyard.
To make this, give it a Creighton angle. Creighton recruited Donovan Mitchell, right? I feel like that was a name I remembered hearing.
I think so. I don't know how heavy we were in on him, but yeah. Guy, we were
pretty darn good.
Weren't we in on the guy went to UCLA?
Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook, yep.
he was coming to Creighton.
Yeah, didn't his dad tell him to hold off?
Talk about this? Did we ever talk about this?
I don't think we've talked about it on the show, no.
He was coming to Creighton. I found this out years later.
Yeah.
He was coming to Creighton. It was a done deal.
Yep.
He was coming to Creighton, and then they switched coaches or something, and he ended up going to UCLA at the last second.
I think there's a few different versions of that story. From what I had heard, his dad told him to hold off until the spring, and then bigger schools came knocking. Because I remember Rob. Oh my God, why can't I remember his name? The SID, Rob Anderson. Rob Anderson tweeted out the itinerary for his official visit a while back. That they found just going through. Yeah. Found it going through all the old stuff.
Think how that would have switched the course of history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
amazing.
Well,
amazing.
You think of 1-2s in college basketball. You had Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook there together at UCLA.
Yeah, I know it. Okay, so I have an unsung hero. Baylor's an excellent choice. I know to say his heroes may be much. I was just so pleased for Sharif.
Yep.
I mean, he hit all his free throws. That 3 he hit was sweet. He had 7 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound. I mean, in 16 minutes. And for a guy who struggled so much, and for a guy who we're going to need going forward, I thought that was huge.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was good to see for Sharif, no doubt.
So it's a 3-way tie. There we go. I just thought he had a better bounce tonight too. Like,
yeah, he looked more comfortable.
And that the same way with Arthur. I thought Arthur was much more active tonight. Obviously, getting the double-double, I mean, that just shows how active he was, especially on the offensive glass, getting those loose balls, because there's been games where he's had a chance to get those loose balls and just hasn't. So, excellent chance.
There was early on in the game when it was still in its early moments and it was looking pretty ugly. I mean, Creighton could have fallen down 7 points. They were missing shots, and Arthur had 2 or 3 huge offensive rebounds just in the first few minutes, within the first 10 minutes that saved possessions.
Yeah, they were. I don't know what to think. Like I said, I've watched Seton Hall a lot, and they've just been so terrible in the offensive end. And unfortunately for me, I watched the first half of the St. John's Seton Hall game where St. John's was taking it to them. And then I don't know what happened, but they got blown out. Tonight they blow an 8-point halftime lead at home to Marquette, just get torched in the second half. I mean, wow. I think Mike Anderson could be his last season there. It's not looking good. Posh has been a shell of himself.
Yeah.
They're in big trouble. They're in big trouble.
I agree. That roster should be. I mean, you've got some really nice pieces on that roster. Between to your point, Posh hasn't been great, but between just looking on paper, between him and Curbelo and Joel Soriano and Mar Stanley and Ade Wuso, and I mean, they've got some decent guys, and Montez Mathis, and they just, for whatever reason, they can't seem to really get it together. I mean, obviously Marquette's pretty darn good. I think Marquette's probably the second best team in our league as of right now that I've seen.
Who would you say is first?
UConn.
Okay.
You disagree?
Oh, I would say UConn and Xavier are a step ahead of Marquette.
See, I don't disagree with your thinking necessarily. I mean, you're obviously that this is very subjective. I feel like I've watched a lot of the Big East, and just to me, for some reason, Marquette passes the eye test a little bit more than Xavier does. The team we're not even talking about really either is Providence. They keep winning games.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out quickly about them coming up here.
They must have made a deal with the devil a couple of years ago, because they have won every single close game that they have played in for 2 years now.
I'll tell you what's impressive about them though, Ross, was the other night. I thought, okay, here's a chance for my Paul Blue Demons who have been touting, and Providence just blew them out. at DePaul. I mean, it wasn't even
Yeah.
close.
Yep.
But I kind of think that like St. John's, Seton Hall, Georgetown, Butler, those 4 are down at the bottom. I can't, given the day, I can't shake them up. Maybe Butler has an edge over the other 3, but I don't know.
But Georgetown's clearly at the bottom.
Yeah, this Seton Hall, this St. John's could be at the bottom. I don't know.
I mean, Georgetown, I don't know how.
I'll give you that. It looks almost like Georgetown's almost given up at times already.
Oh God, I mean, some of the crowds that they've been getting.
The crowds are awful. But I mean, it just
something about them giving away
at some
tickets.
of their players now. They're missing a key part of their lineup right now. So I think Georgetown is. So I think you got to give him that. I can't think of his name, but he's a pretty good player. But even so, yeah. Then and you don't know where
Jay Heath, that's right.
Yeah,
the kid from Arizona State.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Even with him, they weren't winning games.
No, but they were a little more. They had a little more offense.
I mean, this has been. I don't understand what they're going to do here with Ewing.
I heard through the grapevine that they're looking for a nice way to get rid of Patrick. In other words, have him step down. Yeah, because they don't want to fire him. So I think maybe that's probably what'll end up happening. But yeah, Providence is a team that like I want to see. Like they beat Marquette, so you got to hand it to them. But I want to see them take on. Then it's all coming here. UConn, Creighton, it's all coming here in the next week. Now, interesting enough, I was looking at the schedule with Seton Hall because it's like, oh my God, like what is up with this team? Oh my word, do they have a cake schedule coming up? Like they have DePaul, Georgetown, St. John's in a row. Then they play like Marquette and Providence, and then they play Georgetown, DePaul, St. John's again.
Oh wow!
So they have a chance to like build something right now. When you look at the end of their schedule, 6 of the last 7, they are clearly going to lose. Okay?
Yeah,
it's not
the chicken's come to roost at some point.
They're going to lose these games, but it just jumped out at me like, wow, they've kind of got a kind of like this run that Creighton's had here is just perfect to play 3 of the worst teams in the league all at home to beat them all by double digits, 2 of them plus 20. A good way to get well, right? And now you go into the grinder with UConn and Xavier on the road. I wonder, we should ask Coach Williams, I wonder if because I don't think school's back in session yet. I wonder if they'll stay on the road.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
To go to Cincinnati. I mean, that's not, although it's a Saturday, I believe Wednesday kind of tilt. So maybe they won't. Maybe they'll come home. Cincinnati's not that far to go back, but yeah, I'm interested. What's your take on Villanova right now, Ross?
Well, they look a little bit better than they did early now that they've got Whitmore. It's going to be – I still contend that they will be better once Justin Moore at some whatever point he's back into the fold. But again, part of me goes back and forth on that too because that's going to take him a while to get back into game shape. But I don't know. If he's had a couple of weeks under his belt of games by the time they get the Big East tournament in second weekend in March, I mean, I think they could be really dangerous. They shoot a lot of threes like they usually do. But they've got some pieces too. They're playing, like I said, they're playing a lot better with now that Whitmore's in the fold. He's a talented kid. I think they're definitely a cut below, kind of that top UConn, Xavier, Marquette, Providence, Creighton. But time will tell.
What's the prognosis on Moore? I thought he'd be back by now.
It says mid to late January. Wow,
that's a long time to be out.
I mean, yeah, it's a torn Achilles. I mean, those are no joke to come back from.
No, but man, that just kills you because then you take another 2 to 3 weeks to kind of get the chemistry going again. Even though he's such a terrific player, and you don't know how he's going to come back from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, their season could be on the rails.
Well, Tim, I said, literally today, the Philadelphia Inquirer, a personal decision, still no timeline for Justin Moore's potential return to Villanova. He says, quote, I might play, I might not.
Oh.
So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
He doesn't play. It's a pretty easy call to make. Villanova will be playing on Wednesday in New York.
Well, yeah, because, anymore it's seats 6 through 11.
Yeah, and they've already lost to Marquette at home. So that's one, now they've got to go on the road there.
Yeah, if they do not get him back, it's going to be really hard for me to see any other top 5 than UConn, Creighton, Xavier, Marquette, and Providence. Wouldn't you think?
Yes. I think the top 5 will be somebody coming out of that group is going to win the Big East tournament. Obviously, somebody will get eliminated in the 4 or 5 game, one of those teams, and then you'll have 4 to battle it out. How it all shakes out. I mean, I think people that haven't been paying close attention are all of a sudden going to look at the standings and go, "Whoa, where did Creighton come from?" All of a sudden we're 3-1. We're right there with everybody.
Right
there with Marquette, right there with UConn, Providence, and Xavier at the top. So. Yeah, I want to ask you one question though, because it's been on my mind for the last few days. I want to see what your thoughts are, Ross. So I was kind of looking at being their next 2 games are UConn and Xavier, and when they played Saturday, I'm watching and I'm kind of thinking, okay,
it's a great game, by the way.
I think, yeah, I'm sure Xavier is still sending flowers to Danny Hurley.
He can't help himself.
Jeff Goodman, I don't know if you saw it. Jeff Goodman had an interesting comment. He said, look, I talk to referees a lot, and a lot of them have told me they're just so done with him. They go into games going, I'm going to have to tee this guy up if he keeps going, because they've already heard enough. And they go, oddly enough, that used to be Bobby's thing. And they go, oddly enough, Bobby has somewhat toned it down, even though obviously against Creighton, he got a technical, but he has, I think he has kind of toned it down. And in talking to Hobb from Devil's Digest, he told me that before the game, he said, no, Bobby's done a much better job at toning things down. But anyway, I looked at that and I said, you know what? I think our tougher matchup might be against Xavier, just a pure matchup thing. And by the way, did you get my text when I said, this Fremantle kid's starting to grow on me?
Did you get that?
Yeah, I think I did. I thought I did. Or maybe I put it on Twitter.
I've always really
might have added you on Twitter because you and I get into this, but he played super against UConn.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of his game. They just, Xavier they don't have much of a bench. They typically kind of play those main 6 guys quite a bit of their minutes.
That could come off and help them. I just looked at that and go, okay, free like Bowl and Kaluma seem to me more of the body type, the same, so you could match them up, but then who the hell's going to guard Freeman? So unless you put Schreierman on him,
Wait, Bowl?
Isn't it Bowl? Isn't his name Boul?
Oh, Boom. Sule Boom.
Boom. I'm sorry, Boom. And then you got Kunkel, who I think would be a nice matchup for either Trey or R2. I do think they lack a little bit if they get some foul trouble down low.
Yeah, I mean, you look, the Kiki Tandy kid. He's played for them for a few years now.
He's kind of regressed, man.
He only played. Yeah, I mean, he only played 4 minutes the other night.
He was lights out a couple of years ago. God,
their main guy off the bench is the Indiana transfer Jerome Hunter. I mean, they play those 6 guys.
Hunter's looked really well, by the way.
He has. He's
really good.
He's been a lot better. I mean, their top 6 is Xavier's top 6 is really, really good. I mean, you've got shooting with Kunkel and Nunji. As a big that pick and pops and shoots, and then Fremantle is kind of a do it all big a little bit, and Colby Jones is has got a really nice game. He kind of plays a little bit of a combo guard that can pass, get people involved, shoot it a little bit. Kind of bigger, stronger kid than Sule Boom, who can really score the basketball. I mean, I really like their main 6 guys. 37 threes that UConn took is a heck of a lot, and they had a lot of chances. I don't know if you watched that game; they had a lot of chances late.
Oh yeah,
and they missed a lot of threes late. But
the
Hurley thing was wild. My opinion of it is, I understand that they're probably sick of him, and he is exhausting to refs. I get that. I think at that moment in such a big game with 2 minutes left, I think he's got to say something egregious for you to give him a technical foul. And maybe he did.
Especially the ref was all the way on the other side of the floor.
Right.
That made the call.
Maybe he did. I mean, if he's just yelling at you and it's kind of standard bear, coaching's yelling at you, I don't know that you should be teeing him in that type of situation. Short of him saying something bad or inappropriate.
It wasn't really explained.
Right.
But I wonder if he had been warned about the coaching box, because he tends to get way out of it. I wonder, because the way it looked like he was down toward half court, and I wonder if they just said, look, we've warned you twice, boom, you're gone. Similarly, though, I'm thinking back to Vegas, Kip teed him up from way across the court, too. So it must be something he does.
They must get so sick of him,
Yeah. What about the matchup, since that's next on the agenda? What about the matchup with UConn? I think Kalk is just so fired up to go against Sanogo. I don't worry about that. Sanogo, if you can get him, like if you saw Saturday, what Xavier did a great job of, they got him off his spot a little bit. When you get him off his spot a little bit, he's not very good from that 10-foot range. He struggles from there.
Yeah.
But the freshman,
Sanogo, he's shown that he can step out, and he shot some threes this year.
Yeah, I know, but he's kind of like Kalk. You're going to give him that shot.
But gosh, Tim, he's capable. I mean, he's 9 of 23 from the 3-point line. I mean, it's not like he's completely incapable of making those. So he's got a really well-rounded game. I love Sanogo's game. I think he's going to be a handful for Kalk. I know Kalk is really, really good himself, and he's up to the challenge. But I mean, this is he's going to have his hands full. There's no doubt about it.
He's going to eat him alive, Russ. He's going to eat him alive.
Yeah, he did have his number last season.
Yeah, he did. The freshman can hit threes from the outside, and he's a big guy. But I think that's a guy that Kaluma can easily handle, because Kaluma is so much quicker than him on the outside.
You talking about Caravan?
Yeah. Now I'm worried we don't have an answer for.
I think Hawkins and Andre Jackson are both really good NBA level wings.
We got zero answer for Jackson. That's going to be a problem. If we put Trey on him, we're going to have to put Nembhard on him, really, because Trey's got to have some length on against Hawkins.
Well, I think Nembhard will probably guard the Tristan Newton kid.
Oh yeah. What am I thinking? Yeah. So
it's between Baylor and Trey.
Yeah, and Baylor could go out against Hawkins. But I mean, they were talking Saturday about how Hawkins is struggles from three, but he's hit some shots lately. I just think that if you're going to lose a guy, I think he's the guy you want to lose and force him to make some threes.
Yeah, it's going to be those are hard games. It's I guess it's noon out on the East Coast, but it's an early morning, and you gotta. Those are the type of ones that are early in the morning like that. If you get punched in the mouth early, those can be, especially against a team like UConn, it can be tough to kind of try and grind back. So they've got to be ready from the jump.
Did you guys have a worst call of the night? I have one. If you don't,
I don't.
Zach's chuckling.
Baylor getting elbowed in the face. I understand it's a basketball play, but that was he took one. I think in live action, it might have been hard to catch, but I don't know. I don't understand the flagrant foul rule sometimes.
There was 2 reviews tonight, but they never.
Yeah, the first one was Kaluma on a breakaway after Trey had that save.
Somebody grabbed him. That would have been a dunk,
Kadari Richmond grabbed him. Yeah, so they were looking for that. call on that. Are there clear path fouls in college? I don't even remember.
No.
Is that so that's
no,
in the NBA that's a technical,
right?
But not much you can do there. And then the one on Baylor, he got smoked. I mean, even the end of the game, his lip looked busted.
Well, all of that's fine and dandy, but the worst call of the game, it's not even close. I mean, our section was just like, oh my God. There was a play in the second half, I want to say second part of the second half, where Fran was on the far, as you're looking on TV, he was in the near left corner, okay? And there was kind of a scramble a little bit, and Fran ran the baseline.
Yeah, he was out of bounds, right?
He was out of bounds twice.
Yeah.
He took 2 steps out of bounds.
So I'm not crazy. I thought I saw that as well.
No!
There's no way he reestablished either, and they passed him the ball, and he took a 3. I thought he was out of bounds for sure.
The official was so out of position. It was insane. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, do you have to get the zoom to see? No. Half his foot was out of bounds twice. Yeah. It was incredible how you missed that.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, he was cutting. I think he would have been cutting across to where your seats are, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
he's coming right at us. We're looking right down the baseline, and we're like, "Oh my word!"
Yeah, I think that's the first time we've had one. I agree with you now that I'm remembering that. Or I guess not worst non-call of the night, but yeah, I think that's the first time we're picking one against the Jays because he got away with that there. For sure.
A good friend did some nice jobs defensively, but again tonight he was probably the one guy that didn't really pop out at you. You know, I thought King gave shots. Good minutes. King gave some really good minutes inside. You know, at one time when he just backed that dude down, I was like, he missed the shot, but I mean, it was like he really showed what he can do. But Jays win huge, 83-61. A little disappointed they didn't hold that 30-point lead. But
and I will say, they'll talk. You hear guys talk about how final scores aren't indicative. A 22-point win isn't even indicative of how that game went.
That was an absolute butt kicking.
Yeah,
the Jays cover and the game goes over the total.
Seton Hall full court pressing with 3 minutes left against bench guys and walk-ons. That helped to get rid of some of that lead.
Hey, Ross, I don't think we've spoken, but did you happen to see the Arizona State-San Francisco game?
Oh, yeah. I watched a decent amount of it.
What did you think? I could not turn away. Like, it was a 40-point game. I couldn't turn away. Bobby Hurley kept pressing the whole, like, the last 10 minutes, and they were just shredding it, and he just kept pressing. But it's a 40-point game. Like, at some point, why don't you just back off and let it happen?
Yeah, he's probably trying to prove something to his
guys.
He
just got shredded. Oh, my word.
That happens. I mean, you're going to have some, you've been around this game a long time, college hoops. There's going to be a few, even for the very good teams, even most of the tournament teams, they're going to have a couple of just really, really bad stinkers.
Well,
they did. And San Francisco's good.
Again, they were out without one of the twins, okay? And again, that dreaded game before the holiday.
Yep.
It was on a holiday break, and it was the perfect trap game because who was their next opponent after the break? Arizona.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the perfect trap game. By the way, we're gonna end this here in a second, but let's get yourself over to CBS Sportsnet. Undefeated New Mexico going at Fresno State. Fresno State, by the way, getting 4.5.
Down the ropes.
We got a tie tilt here. God, that Mashburn is good. Oh my word, he just carries it. He carries their team.
He's a really nice player, no doubt.
All right, quickly recap. Kalkbrenner 17-8. Trail Gender 15. Yeah, it's 6 blocks. Oh my God, he was a difference. Trail Jenner, nice 15 points again tonight. 2 of 5 from 3, just a nice, and he's got that mid-range game back, which is making me very happy.
Yep.
Kaluma had his first double-double, 14 and 11, and Ryan Emhart really came on shooting the basketball, 14 points, 5 assists on 1 turnover. Excellent game from Ryan. And then our bench chipped in with Baylor. Well, not Baylor, not on the bench 6, but our bench chipped in with Reef with 7 and Mason with 6, as Ross mentioned earlier. All right. So Saturday, we're going to have a true instant reaction right after the game. We'll be on right about 1:05. Take your calls. Take your comments. We'll break down the huge matchup against UConn. I'm anxious to see the point spread. Really anxious.
Let's say 9.5.
See, do you think it's going to be that high?
Yeah. Well, it was pretty high at Marquette.
I was in that
vicinity at Marquette.
All over that. I think we've got a great chance to win this game. I really do. If we play like we did tonight, we can win this game. We're playing really well right now.
I hope so.
Tonight was a really good effort. I mean, all around. Because that would have been a 40-point win had we left the starters in there. Seriously. We played really well tonight. So, hey, thanks, Ross. Thanks, Zach. Yeah. It's great to be back. Thanks to Infusion Brewing and this wonderful Let It Fly beer. There it is. Thanks to Equitable Bank, Bank of Blue Jay Banner, and West Pacific Dental Group, Dr. Robert Hogan. By the way, Equitable Bank, my wife pointed out to me, I bought Doug one of those Hawaiian Creighton shirts when I was in Hawaii at the Tommy Bahamas. She goes, that shirt's still on your dresser over there. And I'm like, yeah, I need to get that to Doug at some point. I've had it for a month now. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Enjoy. There's not going to be too much hoops tomorrow night, I guess. Hey, and I can't let this go without saying, how about Max Duggan? Council Bluffs own in the national championship game. That's just awesome.
Total stud.
Did you guys see the ESPN story on them?
I haven't.
I did not.
Probably not one that the Chamber of Commerce of Council Bluffs is going to fund repeat. Mom is on there and she goes, yeah, they call us Council Tucky.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to watch that.
Pretty funny. It's a pretty good piece, really, but a lot of Council Bluffs stuff, it's a little bit overblown, like Council Bluffs is a railroad town. Well, yeah, maybe 40 years ago. It's not really now, it's like, whatever. But all right, guys, thanks a lot. Right. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.